Hi everybody, welcome to another video. Finally, I've been quite busy, so I took a little break from YouTube, but I'm back with a killer recipe. I'm gonna show you how I make my super moist and delicious pound cake with just a little bit of a lemon taste to it. Now the tools are rather important for this recipe because there is no leavening agent. So you want to build as much air as possible into the cake batter. And this is my bundt cake pan, and you can see it has a really beautiful design and very intricate lines in here, creases. So we're gonna have to be super careful in preparing the pan. So I have a brush here, which will allow me to butter it properly. So once that's out of the way, let's get started. So starting with the batter, I have unsalted butter here that is at room temperature. And this is a very important thing because if it's not at room temperature, then it's not gonna whip as well. And you do want it to have a really airy texture. So to that, I'm gonna add some sugar and a little bit of lemon zest. And the lemon zest really shines in this cake. It's not overpowering, it just gives it a nice little kick. A second tip for getting a very airy cake is to sift the dry ingredients here. So I have flour and a little bit of salt. Again, no baking powder, no baking soda, nothing like that. And that's the beauty of this cake. So I'm gonna set this aside and I'm gonna start whipping everything together. So I do like to use a stand-up mixer with the whisk attachment for this because you want to let it whisk for a really long time. So I'm starting with just the butter on medium speed just to get it nice and blended. Now to that we're gonna add a secret ingredient, which is cream cheese. And this adds to the tartness of the batter as well as the creaminess of the batter. So I'm just combining these two and then slowly incorporating that sugar as I whip the whole thing. Once you're done incorporating all of the sugar, then I just put this on medium or medium to high speed for about 6 minutes. And you can see that the color of the batter changes, it's much paler, and that is a great sign that you're building enough air for this cake to be able to rise in the oven. Now, a good rule of thumb is to clean the sides of your bowl as often as possible. So I do this every 2 minutes or so, and this ensures that everything in the batter is mixed properly. Once you see the change in color and it's much paler, you can start adding your eggs one at a time and beating those in on medium speed. While I add my eggs, I'm gonna add a touch of vanilla and mix that in. Once you add the last egg and it's well incorporated, you can start adding a little bit of the dry ingredients. That is the flour and the salt. Just a little bit at a time. And just use the mixer for the whole thing. I'm using it on medium-low speed when I add the dry ingredients, and just do it in small batches so that you don't end up with flour all over the counter. So I stop with the mixer once I see that almost all the flour is incorporated, and I switch to a spatula just to make sure I don't overmix. And I'm just gonna fold that little bit left right into the batter. And once you're done, just set that aside, start preheating your oven, and let's prepare our pan. So depending on your cake pan, you might need to prepare it differently, but definitely butter and flour the pan. In my case, like I said, I have a very special pan here that I just love using for this recipe. So I'm just making sure that there's enough butter in there so that my cake doesn't stick. But these pans are actually really good, and I've never had a problem with them sticking. Just make sure that you have enough butter in there so that all of this flour sticks well and you don't have a problem. So now you tap off the excess off of the pan, and the pan should look like this. So now we're ready to fill up our pan with the batter, and for that I like to do it in small bits. So I take my spatula and I start to portion out the batter onto the pan like so. Now this way you ensure that you're filling up your pan evenly, and this is very important so that it bakes evenly as well. So I'm trying not to make any mess, so you don't want any batter bits on the walls of the pan because they will burn, and yeah, you don't want that. So I'm taking that spatula and I'm just evening out the surface as much as possible. And that's it. This is ready to go in the oven. So this bundt cake needs about 45 to 50 minutes in a 170 Celsius oven, and you won't be disappointed. Just take a skewer towards the 45-minute mark and check that is fully baked. I'm just gonna let this cool completely before even attempting to flip it over. Now here comes the big moment. The pan has cooled completely and I have a nice cake stand ready to go. And just with confidence and one swift motion, go ahead and flip that. Now try to gauge if the pan is coming off. If so, then lift in one swift motion again, and there you have it. Nothing stuck to the pan, because if you take your time preparing it, then you will have really nice results. And this shape is just gorgeous. You can use a nice lemon glaze if you want to decorate it. I also like making this in a chocolate version. I might share a recipe on that at some point in the channel, so keep an eye out for that and let me know if you want to see that recipe. So I can't end the video without showing you that beautiful crumb from all the air that we beat into the batter, the cream cheese, the yummy butter, everything came together beautifully. And it's really impressive that you don't need any leavening agents to get such a fine crumb. Now, the best part is, of course, eating it. It's a super delicious pound cake. I love it. I think you will too. So I hope you enjoy the recipe. Please try it. And if you do, let me know in the comments. And I'll see you next time with another delicious recipe or even some tips and baking tricks. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and to subscribe to my channel for more.